Before I begin, I'd like for us to recognize all those who have served in the armed forces. You're already all standing, so maybe if you've served, if you just put up a hand and wave, and if we can all give them a round of applause. We are eternally grateful for your service and so very thankful for your safe return to our community, especially today as we remember those who in their sacrifice did not return home. And I would like to thank all of you gathered on the lawn who have come out today to celebrate sacrifice, service, and civic engagement with your community on this Memorial Day. On Saturday, I had the honor of witnessing another sacred celebration in time-honored tradition as approximately 1,000 cadets graduated just up the road at West Point, where I have the privilege of serving as a civilian faculty member. In doing so, they joined the Long Gray Line, a distinguished lineage of West Point graduates who have led America's armies for over 2 centuries. Alongside soldiers from all walks of life, the men and women of the Long Gray Line have spilled blood in defense of our nation in every war since its founding. Today, on Memorial Day, we solemnly remember all American military personnel who have paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we may live in peace, in prosperity, and most importantly, in freedom. At West Point's graduation, the iconic hat toss is the image that everyone remembers. 1,000 cadet visors launched into the air as a thrilling exclamation of the cadets' jubilant liberation. What you may not realize is that dodging those 1,000 hats as they return to the earth requires no small degree of agility and spatial awareness for those of us down on the field with the cadets. I'm proud to state that I've gone 14 years without getting clocked in the head, though I will admit that Saturday was a close call. But the most important part of Saturday's celebration is not, in fact, the memorable hat toss. Rather, it is something that happens just a couple minutes prior. That's when 1,000 white-gloved hands are raised into the air for the oath of office that all Army officers and Army civilians like myself swear upon acceptance of their commissions. If you'll permit me, I'd like to read that oath in full. I do solemnly swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter, so help me God. For good reason, it is that first line, the sworn oath to protect and defend the Constitution, that gets most of the attention, especially in recent years. You see, unlike the great majority of militaries worldwide, America's officers do not swear allegiance to a person, not to a king, not to a president, not to a general, not to a party or its leader. Rather, their highest loyalty is reserved exclusively for a set of ideas, values, rights, and responsibilities enshrined in our Constitution. Rights like freedoms of religion, speech, press, and assembly. Rights that are fundamental to a free and democratic society. Protections against cruel and unusual punishment, and protections from arbitrary and indefinite imprisonment. Guarantees of equal protection and due process for all under the law, and the right for all Americans to have their voices heard at the ballot box, regardless of race, religion, nationality, sex, or gender. Though America has not always lived up in practice to its earnest ideals, these are the ideas to which our servicemen and women swear their allegiance, ready to protect with their lives when their country calls. And so, yes, defending the Constitution from those who would deny us our most fundamental rights as Americans is the heart and soul of the officer's oath. But I'd like to take a moment to shine a light on another portion of the oath that rarely gets the attention it deserves, wedged in the middle, and thus easy to overlook. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. This is the principle of selfless service to others, an obligation taken knowingly, willingly, and without ulterior motives. And that is a principle to which we all must rise as Americans, whether we wear the uniform or not. As we stand today in the shadow of St. Mary's, a congregation I am blessed to call my own, we're mindful that all the world's major religious traditions emphasize service to others, especially the poor, the weak, and the downtrodden, as foundations of a good and moral life. And those who identify with no organized religion or faith also recognize that a sense of common humanity calls us to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. My fellow Americans, it is no secret that the fabric of our polarized society is today frayed not just at the edges, but throughout, stretched tight to the point of tearing. But the example of selfless service shown not just by the military, but by the young men and women of Tuxedo, whose exemplary community service we recognize today, should give us confidence that America's social fabric is not yet damaged beyond repair. Their example must be the one we follow, and it starts at home, here in our local communities, by serving those who look different than us, speak different than us, love different than us, pray different than us, and yes, believe different than us. We can, stitch by stitch, repair the country and its principles for which the fallen were sacrificed. Friends, I don't think we need to make America great again. America is, was, and always will be a great nation when we are all willing to serve well and faithfully its ideals right here at home. And that means, above all else, serving one another first. And so I put the challenge to all of you today. What are you willing to sacrifice in the service of America? What obligation in her service will you take freely and without mental reservation? She asks not for your blood, but for an open heart with which to love thy neighbor as thyself. May we all rise to the occasion, so help me God. Thank you, and God bless America.